Hey, what's up, guys? Oh, Varg's put out a book. This is a little different than the role-playing books and some of the books on his attempt at recreating sort of paganism. This is literally him talking about the time in Norway when he was in the black metal mode, and a few other things happened. As we all know, really, it's interesting that the way he wrote this. I would say he's not a writer, right? Which doesn't mean anything. I'm not a writer. James is a writer. Arkham Reporter is a writer. Andy Nowicki is a writer. Varg is not a writer, but it's fine. He writes essentially. He just he goes right into it, right? There's no need to be poetic. There's no need to be anything. He kind of directly goes into what's being said, which is really important because this is nonfiction. He's not writing a story. He's basically telling a story of his life. The cover is pretty cool. It has like a pencil, charcoal kind of look. It looks that I always like. I like the idea this is Varg, right? A pale horse with the black metal demons trying to get him back, but now he's Varg the White, the whole white. It's funny. I got this. I did not buy this. Two of my friends gifted me this. This is actually the one I got from Arkham Reporter, which is cool because if you look at the Kindle creation, it was printed in Poland, so that was kind of cool. It was sent to him and he sent it to me, which was really appreciate. Thanks, man. In terms of the thing, if you've watched his videos or if you know some of his history or anything about him other than what you glean from Lords of Chaos, or if you're a fan, if you've watched his videos of him talking about it, he gives his take on not just what everybody wants to know, the controversial stuff, to basically killed this guy Euronymous, while denying that he did the church burning, and not denying his views, which he considers normal views. So I'm not going to get into that here, but obviously I'm a big fan of the music. But Bortsum really is amazing music. And when he gives his own idea of music, like he likes Morbid Angel, or he thinks Altars of Madness is a great album, which it is. He doesn't like Venom, which I don't like, and I don't agree with him. He says they invented black metal. The first wave of black metal was thrash. I mean, to nitpick, the guy is a lot more impressive than I am in his accomplishments, but they were saying black metal, not just in South America. I remember reading an old interview with Biharet, and this was 1990, which is taking place before a lot of the stuff that happens here, and they were calling it, he was calling the music they were doing black metal, and I've actually read black metal referred to as a genre before from the first wave. Okay, sorry, and I like Venom, so you could say the Varg would disagree with me, but yeah, I'll just go over a few little things here. Nothing big. You should, if you are a fan, particularly when the scene where he goes after Euronymous. It's interesting in terms of a little Lafondian crossover. He claims self-defense. You could laugh at that or not. Obviously, he explained in the video what he did, how it would not be construed as self-defense legally, but any other time in history would be considered, obviously, defending yourself. Says he should be charged with manslaughter, but obviously, he pissed off a lot of people, so they were going to get him back, or get him back. They were going to get him and make an example. But the reverse grip he used when this guy was throwing hands at him, he was using the reverse grip. I thought that was interesting to defend, but then he went for the attack. Let me use some editing here rather than just bruh. Right up. for my purposes, I like when he starts talking about, you know, the creative side of music in particular. So I always laugh at Varg's the Count trying to look like an undead creature. Right? I think that's the only time he ever did that. But, you know, showing the album covers of the original albums, all the stuff was literally recorded in that time period. I think by '93, everything was recorded before he ended going to prison. And it's interesting. To me, listen, the bottom line is whatever happened that night, there was a fight over money. I mean, there was money owed, right? This guy, and he resented, you know, his releasing records to this dude that doesn't have his stuff together. But, you know, men shoot and stab each other all over the world every day over mundane things like that. So, of course, his other album cover, it was based on a D&D module. It's always funny. Varg loves to mention one of his huge influences being Dungeons and Dragons, because it's very non-metal. See some more of the pictures of him as a kid. He's already got like abs. Jeez. Got some more stuff you see. I'm doing it like one-handed up. Eventually, the art starts to get towards the Kittelsen art, right? Where he's actually using this Norwegian artist who did a lot of like horror folk kind of Norwegian legends and, you know, customs of the old world. Yeah, of course, Elasita, right? Till the light takes us. Christianity imagines the spiritual black death, but something itself as light, and where sanity and health is called darkness. Yeah, that guy Kittelsen was great. I need to get a book or something of his artwork, but okay, now the philosophy more of the creative end of it, where he talks about, obviously, you know, he mentions what he's used, because everybody asks, what instruments did you use? Of course, the infamous philosopher, he used a headset as a microphone to get a really, really cheap, weird sound in his brother's stereo amp. It goes, of course, some instruments are clear, better quality than others. I think by and large, that what matters is what you do with them, how you play, what you play, why you play. If you want to play original and real black metal, use whatever gives you your own unique sound. That is all. Kind of like that. When he gets to it, you leave. You know what you want, and then you try to get those means. But sometimes the means turn out to give you stuff you didn't expect in a good way. And gives a shout out to Alice Cooper for the makeup idea. Alright, let's get to the. Once again, getting to the point here. Right? Well, he talks about musicians. It's funny too if you think about Varg. Right? Here's a guy who, you know, sort of a autistic, weird, but, you know, pretty smart dude with his little hobbies. Running across, realizing that musicians are the media, black metal itself, the scene. Everything else, politics. He's realizing that a lot of these people, regardless if you like the stuff or not, or in dealing with them, they're just pretty dishonest, stupid, obnoxious people, right? I didn't really relate to religion. He doesn't really relate to musicians. Okay, almost as bad as people who call themselves artists. Okay? And he explains his theory of Bertram how it was intended. When I produced the album, the microphones and the drums were set up. When you put it on a headset, listen to it, you would hear it from the perspective of the musician playing the music, mainly the perspective of the drummer. You were the musician, in a sense, playing the music when you listen to it. That's very interesting. And of course, I like this, right? Yeah, the whole modern music industry is rotten to the core. So the guy went through a lot of different things in life, institutions, let's say, not literally being in an institution, but also institutions themselves, and seeing how rotten pretty much most everything is. Everything human, modernity, to say. And I'll wrap this up here. Right? Where I always stress that if I had any formal training in this context, I probably not have been able to make any music at all. Or if I had been able to, it would not have been any different from other music in any way. Formal education removes originality, different ways to look at things, and basically ruins your ability to make original music. You learn how to play well, but you learn how to play just like everybody else does it. Now, I am sure such an education is useful, in fact, necessary if you want to play in an orchestra, be a composer. But for a composer who intends to make music for a living, nah. Even the metal scene, people often complain, I held my plectrum, the pick, right, the wrong way. If they had saw me playing the guitars because they had been conditioned to thinking there was a right and wrong in music, when simply answering them that this is how I hold the plectrum, they were visibly troubled by it. It might not cause them a surprise to you if I tell you that I never heard any music ever made by any of these guys. They probably all claim they are better guitar players than I ever was, though. Truth is, Birdsong was pretty original. Not everything was, and you can see clear influences there from untypical genres in this context. I was influenced more by classical music than by other metal, more by balalaka than by other metal bands when it came to how I played the guitars. I think that's like Ukrainian or Russian folk music. And there's nothing wrong with that. I did nothing wrong here. I just played music in a different way and mixed it in a different way. I asked the sound technician for a more dynamic sound, exactly like they do for classical recordings instead of the more statically loud sound of metal productions. Also, I included non-metal music from the first album and onwards, not just as intros or outros or as a background sound effect, but as actual tracks. Nobody else that I know of that time did that. That is true. That is true. Say what you want about the man. The guy was an original.